Second generation post-colonial novel, The Case of Hanif Kureishi's The Buddha of Suburbia, Experiments and Linguistic Hybrids. My thesis focused on analysis of some elements of the novel The Buddha of Suburbia by the Anglo-Pakistani author Hanif Kureishi, published in 1990 and considered one of the most famous of his entire career. Hanif Kureishi, born in Bromley, South London, to an English mother and a Pakistani father, uses his mixed family and the suburban context in which he grew up as necessary cues to address some of the essential themes of his artistic production, such as violence, marginalization, integration, and racism. The Buddha of Suburbia is a coming-of-age novel that, in particular, has helped to challenge social convention and explore a new idea of Englishness, in which being English can also mean having a different cultural background, in which it is not necessary to ask ethnic minorities to assimilate, but to contribute to turn to the formation of a culture that can include different elements. My thesis developed through the analysis of some elements of the novel set in 1970s London, which followed the adventure of the young Anglo-Pakistani Karim in search of his own identity in a society where he feels divided between two cultures. The theme of hybridity is in fact one of the key concepts of English literature of those years, both for the cultural scope, both for its complex definition, which over the decades has changed connotations and value. Identity development. The first chapter focuses on the path that the protagonist Karim will undertake in search of his identity, characterized by the ambiguity and the plurivocity of idea of Englishness with which he identifies. The protagonist continuously lives suspended between two cultures, British and Pakistani, but without having a full awareness of its hybrid position as well as its Eastern component. In this chapter, you will notice how the author, through hybrid characters such as the young Karim or his friend Jamila, denounces with irony and irreverence the racial relations in London of the 70s. In fact, there are subjects in between, with a fluctuating identity, without well-defined boundaries. The protagonists are British in their own right, but with Pakistani origins, who live in anomalous condition of foreigners in their own home, due to their somatic features. The situation of indeterminacy causes in the characters of the novel a sense of confusion, which generates in them a continuous search for new adventures that better reflect themselves. In this first part, will be explained the difficulties, obstacles, and prejudices that Karim will encounter within the English social reality in his attempt to accept himself and to be accepted by the world that is not yet ready to accept the other. Spaces in comparison. The second chapter deals with the theme of the spaces in which the novel is built, the London suburbs and the city centre, corresponding to the two parts of the novel, in the suburbs and in the city. The setting is fundamental in this novel, not only in terms of geographical space, but also in terms of the historical period in which it is set. Thus, in 1970s London not only serves as the backdrop of what happens in the novel, but also as the protagonist, visualized through iconic images. The distinction between the two places is very important. The periphery is seen as the real space of marginalization, without an impossibility of growth, while London, understood by the protagonist as the center, represents culture, growth, and the opportunity to become someone. The suburbs into which the novel is divided also represent the colonies, while London is considered as the metropolitan and empire centre. Although Karim was born and raised in Bromley, London for him remains a place of migration and great dream to be realized, as it was for migrants from the former colonies. The periphery is a confused and disturbing place, which, however, by its nature, cannot be definitive condition. Indeed, Kureishi chooses the suburbs as the starting point and the metaphorical place of Karim's transition. However, London's vitality and cultural variety make it the perfect setting for the second part of the novel, because only in this context is possible the evolution of the identity of the protagonist. Linguistic hybridism and multiculturalism. In the continuation of my work, I analyzed and found that The Buddha of Suburbia is a novel that explores several themes, including linguistic hybridity. Set in multicultural suburbs of London, the novel features a wide range of characters from different linguistic spheres. This mixture of cultures is also reflected in the way the characters express themselves verbally, creating a rich fabric of linguistic hybridism. An example of hybridity in the novel is the main character Karim, who navigates between two linguistic and cultural worlds. His mother tongue is English, but he is influenced by Pakistani expressions and idioms. For example,